everybody. As you can see, this is our maiden voyage of live streaming the UC 2020 Users Conference. I'm very, very excited to welcome you guys all here. I wish I could see everybody. This is making me crazy. But what I have in store for you today is Chip Hart will kick us off with his session titled COVID and Promoting Caring Communities. And with that, he is going to share his screen and we will take it away.
All right.
He's sharing his screen. He'll take
I am sharing my screen. All right. First of all, it's like you'd think we'd done this before because it's all we've been doing the last couple weeks. Hello. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who made it today. I realize you're in the middle of your day, many of you, actually all of you, and you may be seeing patients, and seeing patients is really important right now. And so it's nice that you were able to stop by. I'm going to walk through our users conference. I mean, the official title of this opening presentation is COVID and Promoting Caring Communities. But at the last second, I wanted just to remind everyone, it's really, how is PCC going to have a users conference? So let me start with a little administrative guidance, all right? And that is, I'm going to walk you through, this is our plan today. I'm going to introduce everyone to the Users Conference 2020. We're going to walk through the mechanics of how it's going to work. I'm going to inform you of what PCC is doing and has done for you lately, and then I'm going to give you a little rant. Ideally, this will go until about noon. We're going to take some questions with the help of my lovely assistant, Jan. She's going to help me coordinate those things, and we are going to answer your questions as best we can about the Users Conference or about what's happening over the next couple weeks in PCC land. If we go over, that's fine. This is all going to be recorded. You can come back and watch it on YouTube. We'll give you the instructions in a little bit. We know that some of you are only going to be able to be here for a little bit, and then you'll have to hop off. That's also fine. We're trying to do this as carefully as possible, or not, pardon me. We're trying to do this as conveniently as possible. There are also some tools that we're going to be looking at with YouTube and everything like that. The ability to pause. I'm going to be looking into personally. I'm going to check this out. I think it's cool. I think we might be able to do some closed captioning on this. We'll just see what happens. But I appreciate everyone's patience as we work this stuff out. You know, the whole world is trying to figure out how to make Zoom work, and we've been doing this a lot lately. But every time is a little bit different. So everyone watching right now live doesn't need this first instruction because you've already followed it. But in case you somehow end up on this YouTube video later, the live session, all right, if you want to see it, you can go right there. If you and you want to get to the UC chat, all right, it's all right there. There's the long link, but if you just go to uc2020.pcc.com, the town square is where we want you to direct your questions and your answers, please. Jan is watching that for me right now. I might sneak over. If you see me looking off screen a little bit, I will, yeah, that's what I'm looking at as I'm trying to keep up with the Mattermost over there. You must register for the chat if you haven't done so already. And there's a long, gross thing there that you can click on. Jan did send the PDF to all the registered attendees or the people we know, but I'm sure we already even have a easier way to do that. I just put that in my slide last night. So what else do we need to know? Whoops, sorry, I come back on this screen. This is what our users conference usually looks like, okay? Now you'll notice that there are only two people on their computers, and they're both named Dr. Schwartz, which is really interesting. And we'll find out who's actually talking. What would be so riveting that would make everyone pay attention a little bit. But when I was trying to come up with pictures or things to show, to talk about the users conference, I asked the marketing team, I'm like, hey, do we have any pictures of the UC from last year? Because I knew we had a bunch, and they sent me this. And I have to tell you, it was, made me more than a little nostalgic and a little sad that we're not able to get together this year. The fact of the matter is that the users conference is for us the most important client engagement experience that we have every year. There's no question. And it means a lot to PCC to be able to get together with all of our clients in one place. And, if you look at the back row here, okay, these are, let me see, this is a standing room only talk. Every single person here is a PCC employee, all the way down to here. And then there's Tim. sitting between our friends right there. So he was the lone weird person. But everyone here is a PCC employee. We all go to the users conference ourselves. I had about 100 photos of the what we call the counseling session, the Tuesday night before the conference, and about 100 photos, and it's all people smiling and engaging directly, client to client, PCC to client. And it's just a lot of people clearly enjoying each other's company and learning. That's a really big deal. And so we have the challenge of how do we try to replicate as much of this experience as possible, knowing full well that we can't fully do it. And so that's the goal of what we're trying to do right now. And this was, I did find a couple serious pictures. This everyone's very serious in this picture, but you'll notice one of the things, this is going to sound silly, but I'll give you a sense of my nostalgia on this. The reason I took this picture out of the hundreds that we had to pick from, it was actually, believe it or not, this sunny background. And the reason I say that is every year, because we do the users conference in July, it's like peak sunlight in Vermont, and everyone who remembers this room, this giant ballroom that we do this in. And to me, it was a very visceral thing. I know the feeling that this could even be me right here, this blob, but I know the feeling of what it's like to be standing on the edge of that room, seeing all of these clients paying such close attention to a message that some speaker is delivering that can change the way that their practices run or the way that they interact with their patients. And I'm just being introspective, sorry here, but I know that everyone here who knows me knows that I'm usually just chatting with someone, all right? But I actually get so overwhelmed at the users conference myself. I stand in the doorway, I absorb a couple minutes, I absorb the message that's being given by the speaker, and then I also absorb 200 or 300 or 400 people in this room absorbing what the speaker has to say. And I start putting it together like, there's my friends from Eden Park. And I know that they are going to be taking this idea, and I bet that Sherry's going to do X or Y with it. There's some of the folks from Peds 1, all right? Like they are going to absorb some of this information, and they're going to be calling us in 2 days saying, hey, how come we didn't know about that? And that gets overwhelming really quickly. And so this to me was just a very visceral, memory-driven photo. In fact, we could have blurred everyone out in this picture. It's just that feeling of going in and out of those doors. Everyone here knows what I'm talking about. Everyone who's been to the users conference, because you take a left out of this doorway, you can follow my red dot, I presume. You take a left out of this doorway, you go up the hall about 20 feet, and you turn left, and you go by the other classrooms. And I want to do my best to remind you of what that's like. Right now, the way I'm doing that is by talking a lot. So let's see what else we can do. The schedule is for the users conference. Right now, our users conference crew has, I think they've got about a dozen or so classes already identified for the next 2 weeks, but we actually have much more than that planned. And the reason we're doing it this way is this: we cannot get together in July. That's just a fact, all right? We're not even sure if the state of Vermont will allow it, all right? So we can't obviously have people buy plane tickets and get canceled in the whole 9 yards. So rather than wait for July and pretend that everyone here is actually going to shut their offices and sit in a room watching a video screen for hours at a time, no one's going to do that. We use the feedback that we got from you to say that, hey, we could start doing some of this training and some of this guidance now while you are a little bit slower. Because the last thing that PCC needs to do is turn around and say, hey, we need you to pay attention to us for 3 days, right in the middle of the time when your state potentially opens up and you can see a flood of patients. One of the reasons we're recording all of these is, we've been talking about recording them forever, but we are making a very strong concerted effort to do it this year because we're going to need to find the opportunity to deliver this content when you are available. Right now, opportunities to see patients are so valuable. Us getting in the way of that is really a problem. So we want to deliver it. We're going to deliver this stuff on a regular schedule. You can go to that first line right there, pcc.com/UC. In fact, it can be even shorter. It delivers you there. You can see who's on the schedule. The people we have queued up right now are largely PCCers. Our special guests are going to be in the next batch. I believe I forgot to give you my preamble at the beginning of all this. I'll hit it for you in a second. But we have a bunch of really good speakers. We already had a bunch of good speakers queued up for the UC. We had almost all of our subjects were chosen, our topics, our speakers. It was going to be awesome. We're just going to do our best to deliver it to you this way. Again, you can get to the chat using that link right there. Please go there and ask and answer your questions. All right. I did look over here, and I'm going to show something to you here in just a sec. And if you want to watch later, if you want to see these things live, the meetings are all being held on that link. And so you can watch the meetings live, you can pause them, you can fast forward, you can freeze, and you can skip by the boring parts, mostly the ones where I'm talking. Before I go to my next slide, all right, where I'm going to talk about one thing we want to do to promote the social aspect of the users conference, which is really the most important aspect. I want to remind you that when we present like this, it is weird. I mean, you know this. Every single person here has already probably been to multiple webinars. Everyone here has been on YouTube. You know what it's like. Most of you here have seen me speak in person, and I just want to acknowledge the fact that it's weird to engage with you like this. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't know anyone who does, frankly. My hair is weird. Everyone's hair is weird. I hope it's not being crazy right now because I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. My camera on my laptop, the white balance goes in and out. So every now and then it looks like I have hepatitis. I don't have hepatitis. It just, these funny things happen. And what I am finding though, this goes to the title of this actual presentation, but what I am finding is that most people are starting to really embrace the benefit of being kind to each other and being patient with each other. And I'm going to talk more about that at the end, but so I do appreciate your patience with me looking and sounding and behaving weirdly. I do appreciate everyone's patience with the imperfection of what we're going to deliver. All I can promise you is that PCC is going to work really, really hard to deliver to you content and information and services and features to our software that we hope and we think are going to make it easier for you to take care of your kids and easier for you to run your business. And one thing I forgot to show off, I spent 20 minutes this morning looking for this, and I assume you can see it on the screen. So I had a friend make me a mask out of my old PCC t-shirt. I don't have it on right now because this will mess up my headphones, and this is a disaster. But this is, I'm going to say, part of me wants to have a contest to see who can come up with the coolest face mask design. And if we weren't in such a crisis trying to track these things down, you can be assured that PCC would have delivered hundreds of these to every one of you with a PCC EHR logo on it. But that's my favorite one so far. I do have a B one too. That's pretty cool. It does also, the thing is when I put this on, it makes me look like Bane from Batman a little bit. And I'm surprised I haven't seen any Bane face masks yet. Maybe that's what I'll make. That's how I'll make my $1 million. Anyway, let's keep going. One of the things that we knew is going to be really, really important for the users conference to work well is to figure out how to engage you socially. And that's really hard through the internet, okay? However, as many of you, but maybe not all of you know, there's a group of us who for the last, I don't know how many years we've been doing it, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, we've had at the users conference, an annual beer swap. And we've also done the beer swap at Paul Vincieri's PMI event. I've done it at the NCE, or we've done it multiple times at the NCE. We have, and basically anytime we have a gathering of clients, there are 2 or 3 clients who say, oh wait, they're from Vermont. That's where all the good beer is. Maybe PCC can bring me some beer. And, you know, we're not stupid. So we'll say, we'll bring you some beer, but you bring us some and we trade. So we end up in someone's hotel room or in a lobby and we just trade beer. Now, here's the thing. Not everybody likes beer. You can't all be perfect. But what we want to do and we're going to get instructions for this. This is our idea. We are going to have everybody who is interested in being part of a little social fun experiment. We're going to ask everyone who's interested, PCC employees and PCC clients, to sign up for a national goodie exchange. Now, what you have on the screen right here is not only my personal diet during COVID, okay, but it's Vermont products, okay? We've got the Cabot cheese, and if you want to be fancy, we call it Cabot. It's really not Cabot, it's Cabot, but when you want to sound like you're fancy, you got Cabot cheese, you got your Lake Champlain chocolates, and of course you have the Heady Topper, the king of them all. These are Vermont specialty goods, all right? Each one of these things has won national and international awards. So we want everyone who's interested, we're going to give you a sign-up page. We want to know who you are, where you're from, and whether you are interested in food, adult beverages, or you don't have a preference. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put everyone in a hat, and you are going to be assigned someone in another part of the country to whom you are going to deliver some local goods based on their interests. And you're going to get from someone else. And everyone, we're going to time this. We're going to put it a couple weeks out so everyone has time to pack and ship, okay? And what we're going to do is, this is the plan right now. We're going to get everyone on one giant Zoom call, 100 people, whatever it is, 100, 200 people. And if it's 200 people, maybe we'll split it in half. I don't know. And we're going to get everyone on. Everyone's going to get 1 minute on screen. All right, or you don't have to be on screen. You can do it on, just on the phone, but. Well, ideally, everyone will be on screen, and you're going to come on screen and say, hey, my partner was, let's say, I'm going to pick on someone who's probably not on the call right now. My partner was Nelson Branco, and he's from California, and he sent me this really awesome beer from Russian River, and here I am opening it, and here I am enjoying it. Here's a video of my kids using it in their pool, and whatever you use. And we're just going to go around in a circle, and everyone's going to get a minute to highlight what they've received and give thanks to someone else. Is that the same as everyone being in the lobby around the corner, hiding from the security guard when we do the beer swap? Not at all, but it is something, and I'm hoping that, I'm really hoping that this might help us make the connections to a practice you don't know. These things are really important. That is the single biggest part of the users conference, is the interaction that you have with everyone. So we're doing our best here. More news on this shortly. Okay. Can we do two? I live in one state and some in another. Oh, what a great question. Oh, and Nelson Branco was on. What do you know? And yes, Robin Warner's pointing out that for those of you who are going to send adult beverages, we might give you some guidance. Okay, it's frowned upon in some states, but whatever, we'll figure that out. Yeah, we can do two. We will answer all those questions later. But I appreciate and welcome the enthusiasm. All right, let's talk about some real things now. March 13th, 2020 is going to go down in history as Black Friday for pediatricians. That is the day that everything fell off the table. It really hit on Monday, but it was that Friday that things started in earnest. And I just wanted to review with everyone here, what has PCC done for you lately? I should probably have like a Janet Jackson video in here, but this is what PCC has done for you. All right. First of all, some public things, just for anyone who may not have known. It always catches me by surprise how many people aren't aware of some of the things that we've been up to. So we have a public dashboard. It's right there, pcc.com, business impact of COVID-19. You can just go to pcc.com and click on the link in the top, and we put all kinds of interesting pediatric data using you, our viewers, as the data source. Here's the reason I'm highlighting this. If you are speaking to your local media, which you should be doing, if you are speaking to your local AAP chapter who might be clueless, or maybe they're clued in, if you are speaking to payer representatives, if you're talking on Facebook and you need data to show the impact that COVID has had on your practices, we are handing it to you and everyone else on a silver platter. And if there's data you need and you don't see it, email us. All right. PCC, as you know, we've been in the New York Times, we've been in the Wall Street Journal, we're on Good Morning America, we're on the Today Show. And my favorite, we're on Harper's Index. That was really cool. But we have all of this stuff out here in the public with the intention of explaining to everyone else how difficult your jobs are right now. So please use it. The other thing that we've been up to, and this thing has taken up a huge amount of my time, but with good reason, is the forum that Paul Vincieri and I put together. And why is this forum being hosted by PMI and not PCC? The reason is very simple. We think that the COVID response is something that everybody has to do. And if PCC hosts something on our website, if we put, I mean, the COVID forum uses Discourse. It's the same software that PCC Talk uses, all right? It would be child's play for us to put this together. But as soon as that becomes a PCC only thing, a lot of people can't show up, or a lot of people won't show up. So if you look right here, I just took a screenshot of what was on the front of the forum just when the other night. And there's Suzanne Berman, the second person down, where it says hourly employees in PPP. Suzanne Berman is an office practicum employee. And so I mean, even though she's wonderful and probably would come help out, and she actually is presented at our UC. I mean, she's awesome. But she is probably less likely to show up at a PCC hosted forum. Now, this forum has literally 3,200 people representing independent pediatric practices who are discussing everything related to COVID. And it's in our weekly webinar that Polly and I sit down. We try to make it an hour, okay? But we think it sometimes rolls over, and maybe sometimes 90 minutes. But we talk for an hour every Thursday night, and it's recorded just like this. This Thursday night, we have Mark Del Monte, the CEO of the AAP, is going to come on, and we're going to get him to tell us what the AAP has been doing for you. This has been, I mean, in 6 weeks, we had 3,000 people signed up to this group. And the information and the helpful hints and guidance and questions being shared has been amazing. So if you don't know about this, it's free, it's non-denominational, it's agnostic. Come there and hang out. Now, here's the thing. That's the public work we're doing. Here's the private work we're doing. Everybody should, if you have not seen your COVID dashboard yet, pause this right now, because you can pause it. It's like TiVo. Go to dashboard.pcc.com and go check out the very specific data that we've been giving to you. All right, so our public data is just sort of everyone amalgamated. Here, we are showing you what your results look like. All right, what else have we been doing? PCC has been working harder than ever. And I'm not telling you this to brag, because I don't have to. I'm not telling you this to elicit your sympathy, because we're not asking for it. I'm telling you this so you understand how important it is for us to have you as clients. And let me give you an example. Since March 15th through May 15th, or May 18th, actually yesterday, our interoperability crew, I asked them, I said, hey, tell me how much business has flowed through PCC. And they have, you can see it right up here on the screen. I'm going to round everything. They've done 234,000 electronic prescriptions. They've done 1.1 million electronic eligibility requests, 457,000 electronic claims, almost 600,000 ERAs. They've I don't even know what the right words are. They've sent out, in this instance, they've passed through almost 180,000 bills, 36,000 electronic lab results, and 145,000 electronic immunization histories. All right. All of this stuff happened without a hitch during the 2 months when you had your eyes on something else. This is what we've been doing. That's not all. Our support demand has increased massively. If we compare the volume of our support demand from the same period last year to now, the requests have gone up 20% and our calls have gone up 10%. And we had to pivot just like you did. Again, I'm not eliciting sympathy here. I'm just telling you that we did not have, or do not have, the option to furlough any of our employees or make any of them go part-time. Everyone at PCC has been working more than ever. This has been, without question, the busiest 8 weeks of my entire career. I've been doing this for 30-something years, and it has been 8 weeks of NCE plus users conference. It hasn't stopped. And so right now, while for many of our clients, their patient demand is down, I'm not saying you're not busy, because you're working, you've got plenty of other things to work on, or things are really stressful. But our demand has gone way up. and let's talk about some of the things that we've delivered to you. Okay. So everyone here already knows that you did just get a massive, really cool, immediate response in the software itself. And if you want an outline of what's in there, there's your link. Just go to learn.pcc, click on recent releases. The April COVID-19 release included 2 massive things. The big one is the telemedicine. I mean, there's the icon. That's, by the way, that's what the telemedicine icon looks like if you blow it way, way up. Okay, it's interesting. Everyone here knows you've got telemedicine in the EHR and you've got blast messaging. And our clients at this point have probably sent out, I didn't look today. Actually, you know what I am going to do? Because I can look while, oh no, I can't add it up fast enough. I'm sorry. But when I checked the other day, or like 2 weeks ago, our clients had sent something like about 400,000 free texts and emails. We have made this feature free through June? I don't even remember what we decided. Some distant date. And we want everybody to leverage this to get your patients in. I wrote a huge blog piece about why you should be doing recall, but there's a big piece on PCC's blog about this, okay? And I did a whole thing about it on the podcast, all right? This stuff is available to you through August, all right? Or I don't know if that's until August or through August, and everyone's gonna send me messages to get corrected me in a minute. Don't worry about it. Look in the chat, your PCC people will help you out. But the point is, we pivoted immediately to help you, but we've been even busier. We had a release that we were hoping to actually start, we did start testing last week, but we are, as you know, very careful with our releases. We are unlike many of our friends and other EHR vendors who don't think as much about or worry as much about rolling out an EHR with bugs in it. And that freaks us out. And our crew is, to their sincere credit, really awesome about making sure things don't break. But do you want to know what's coming? All right, a couple people know on the beta list. This is what, you know what I should have? Instead of having a picture of a candle burning at both ends, I should have a box of Depends on here, because here's what's coming. You ready? We are going to have chat built into the EHR. We will have with its name may change, this things called snap texts. Those are also known as smart phrases, the ability to type a teeny tiny bit and boom, have it fill in the rest of the text for you anywhere in the EHR. You can direct text to patients who are sitting out in your parking lot, or maybe you're just in the middle of a chart note and you want to send a patient a text note to get in touch with you. You can now sign up to the portal via cell phones. You can notify people that they have a portal message using texts. We have added a lot of functionality around broadcast contact management, the ability for people to indicate which of their contact methods you're allowed to use when you send out a broadcast message. All right. You can now do eligibility checks for phone and portal visits. You can assign documents to future appointments. Our first Chattis pilot is going to happen. Yes, Chattis integration, and coming soon, not right away, but coming soon. We are improving the ability to print from home. So all of those people who you may employ right now, all of those billers, all of those nurses who need to print stuff, printing at home is a pain. Well, now we're going to make it a little bit easier. That's what's coming in the next couple of weeks. For most other vendors, this would be a year's worth of work. This is like 8 weeks worth of work or 6 weeks worth of work. That's not all, because pounding right behind that is release 8.13, which was what we were supposed to be putting out right now anyway. Okay. And that includes features like being able to mark medications and allergies in the ERX and having that automatically mark them as reviewed in the chart note. The ability to make appointments for siblings. We have an interim lab form and radiology solution. It's not great, but it's good, and it will save you a lot of time and trouble. We have the ability to schedule reports for the future, so you can actually have this report show up in your email every morning or once a month or whatever the case may be. You can now pick a specific visit and have the vital signs for that visit automatically populate a form. The QBCD initiator pilot, which is in some ways the biggest news of all, that's going to be starting. You will be able to search through your task queue. You are going to be able to do more EHR charge posting, and you will be able to perform signing tasks in Pocket PCC. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not promising anything about what's going to get released in June. Any one of these things could drop off tomorrow. I'm not going to promise that it's even going to happen in June. Things happen. We never promise stuff, but what I'm giving you here is a review of the stuff that we plan to deliver in the next few months, okay, to make your lives easier and to make it easier for you to take care of your kids. I'm not even talking about the stuff that we already know is coming after 813, okay? There's stuff with e-prescribing. There's stuff we already have pegged for 814. We know with texting and all the communication stuff, we could probably roll features out relating to that and portal stuff for the rest of the year, and everyone would be delighted. But this is our message to you about how important it is that we continue to do our work and focus on the things that you need to run your practices. So, how are we going to get back to this? I don't know right now. Now, I want you to notice something. If you look in the far right, you look at this guy right here, that's me. Now, if I go back to the first slide that I showed you of the group, there were only 2 people in the entire room who were on their computers or their phones. I'm talking, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every single person's like on their phones. What the heck? All right. At least right now, you know what? When we stream, you have to, since I can't stream live, I won't feel bad. But with this, I was just going through the pictures. I was like, oh my word. If people wonder why I walk around when I give talks, it's because when I stand in front of you, you're a lot less likely to be paying attention to your phone. So I guarantee you within 2 minutes of this picture being taken, I was down there standing in front of G. McConnell. That's a lesson I learned from one of my college professors. He used to throw chalk at us if we weren't paying attention. In any event, how are we going to get back to this? And how are we going to get to this? All right, which is look at the attention being paid, except by Dr. Schwartz in the back. I'm going to find out if he actually paid any attention, or if he's didn't pay any attention, but if he's actually logged in here. I included this slide because Dan Schwartz was the one person I noticed in the first set of slides, and here's one of my favorite doctors from North Seattle Peds. Look at that attention. How are we going to get back to that? We don't know right now, and obviously none of us knows. And it's one thing if our states start to open back up and we can return to some semblance of normal, but what we don't know is, are we going to be able to open up to people traveling from out of state? With everything that's happening and the volume in your practices and the revenue that you've lost, at what point are people going to be comfortable leaving their practice for a couple days and focusing on something like this, which is, even though it's full of content, this is really about the social and the interaction part and the one-on-one time you get with a PCC person or some like-minded practices. How are we going to get back to this? We don't know. We're going to do our best, and maybe PCC is going to figure out how to do a traveling roadshow. Paul Ventieri's trying to convince me to buy a tour bus from a rock band so we can go all over the country. I don't know about that, but we know we're going to have to do something. And even though PCC is filled with, not exclusively, but largely with introverts, the fact of the matter is we all crave some sort of human interaction. And to be honest, or not to be honest, but let's be clear, that's also why you're pediatricians. You picked an incredibly socially intensive specialty. And we know that you crave it too. You crave being among your peers. You crave being among people who think and work and act like you. And PCC, no question, attracts a certain type of client. You are generally high-performing pediatric practices who put a premium on preventive care. You have really high standards, certainly. And you want to be around other people like that. You want to be, I mean, this is like if you were in high school, you want to be in the AP class. And that's what the PCC Users Conference was. So how are we going to get back to this? I don't know, but if we're going to do our best, we're going to try our hardest. And I'm going to ask that everybody here, not only am I going to ask for your patience, but I'm going to ask for your input and your insight. And if you have ideas about how we're going to do this, lay them on us. And this goes to what, this is really my second to last slide. And we're going to take some questions in a minute here. I didn't realize until I was making these slides when the UC team said, yes, the theme this year is promoting caring communities. And I was like, okay, I wonder, how did they come up with that? I made this slide and put this on here, and this was originally a bookmark for me. They must have known, obviously, and I didn't, that promoting caring communities is also PCC. I didn't really think about it until yesterday. And the thing I want to express here, it's going to be a challenge to articulate, but I want to make clear that, I've been working for PCC since 1990. I took this job out of college. This is my first job ever. I don't have a resume, or if I do, it'd be pretty funny to read from way back then. I've committed myself fully to this job for a long, long time. And if you look at some of the success we've had with the forum for COVID and stuff, I think it's been working out, right? But I'm not alone in that regard at all at PCC. I mean, most of my coworkers I've known for 10, 15, 20, 30 years because they've worked at me with PCC, worked with me at PCC all this time. And the people I haven't known for 10 or 20 years, it's funny, what you all didn't see is all the little chit chat in the PCC channels from all what I consider the new PCCers saying, hey, if you want to watch the show today, this is how you're going to watch. The users conference is happening. These are people, the only reason I haven't known them for 30 years is just because they haven't worked at PCC for 30 years. And why do people like me, why do people like Jan, who's the only person I can see today, I'm looking at her through our fancy new production studio, which we barely used. Why do people like us work here? I'm going to tell you, PCC is very generous in a lot of ways, but living in Vermont, getting paid Vermont wages, every single person here, if they worked for one of those, if we all worked for Epic, we would all be making 2 to 3 times as much money. That's just a fact. Now, of course, you might be without a job in 6 months or a year when you get laid off, or for one of those, when you get bought out or whatever those companies do. But from a return perspective, from a reason to come to work every day perspective, why have I worked? I've had since March 13th, I've taken 2 or 3 days off total. And by taking a day off, I mean like the entire day. Otherwise I work every day. I got up at 5:30 this morning to finish my slides. I'm going to be working till 11 o'clock tomorrow because I got more slides tonight because I have more slides to do. And I'm not sad. I'm not angry. All right. There are other people at PCC who work harder than I do. And the reason we do, though, is because of you. And I'm pointing into the camera. Your work is really, really important. And it's important to us because you work with kids, and many of us at PCC have kids, and for a lot of us, it's PCC clients who see our kids. So it's a pretty direct connection. But even for those who don't, or those who don't have kids who see our clients, the work that you do is vital to our national community. It's so much more important than anybody gives it credit for, except those of us in this community. And PCC is fortunate. We have the gift of being able to work with people whose work is the most contributory effort I can think of. I mean, it's like, it's first responders, elementary school teachers, because I can't imagine doing that work. But public school teachers, let's say, and pediatricians. I mean, those careers are that work that is so important. And how lucky am I to work for the people who are doing that work? And so I miss it. I miss this stuff a lot. I mean, everyone here says, that I'm a microphone hound and whatever. I'm really not. I'm happy to have other people talk. I think it's great, but I'm really going to miss not being able to talk about something really important or present on something that I know is going to impact your practices positively. I am going to be presenting that, but it's going to be virtually and it's not the same. And so I just wanted to give this very subdued for me rant, right, about how meaningful our work is at PCC. And the reason why everyone's burning the candles at both ends is it's not that nobody at PCC has talked about saving their jobs. What we've been talking about almost exclusively is saving your jobs so that you will be there when the gates open and the flood comes back in, and we've got to do 30 well visits a day for each one of you, 7 days a week, until we get everyone caught up, until I don't know if anyone just saw the CDC report that was in the Times about how we have many newborns who are way below herd immunity right now. And I will tell you, last week I did the measure for PCC clients, and across the board, for all of you listening to this, your well visits dropped, your well visit coverage by 3%, and your immunization coverage dropped by 3% or more. That's the biggest drop I've ever seen. In fact, it's the only time it's ever dropped for well visit coverage. And so we have to be here so that when you're ready and you can floor it, that you're able to do so. This is the most important work that I can think of doing. And so I just want to take one last second to say thank you to our clients for sticking it out, for looking to us to help you. I really am going to want everyone to leverage us as much as possible. The next couple months are really going to determine how healthy you are moving forward. So the session takeaways really quickly before I start answering questions, doing my best. So over the next few weeks, we're going to fill your brains. We can't do it in person. We can't give hugs. We can't give smiles, or it's a one-way smile. I'm just smiling into my laptop. It's not the same, but we are going to do everything we can to help you in your practices, all right? And we're going to do our best to try to stay connected with you. And we're going to be trying stuff. The whole world is trying to figure out how to do this. Please let us know what worked and what didn't. Please, if this kickoff meeting did nothing for you, let us know, because I don't want to do this again if it didn't help you. If this did help you in some way, or you like this part of it and you didn't like that part of it, let us know. We are not handing out those little surveys. I'm holding up a piece of paper. We're not handing out those little surveys at the end of all our classes like we usually do. Okay, I mean literally handing out those little surveys. Yes, we're still doing the surveys. Jan's like giving me motions to the window. It's not that, I'm so used to the visceral memory I have of having those little cardboard boxes, which I don't even know where Jen gets them. It's like every year we have the same little group of cardboard boxes, and I fill it up with, I ask people to fill up their survey results, and every year I look into the box and I see that someone who I'm pretty sure meant to give all high scores gave all low scores. Happens every year. We're not doing that this year, and we need to know what we can do to stay connected with you. And most importantly, you're paying us and we're working. So leverage that. If you need something from us, call, email. Our phone calls and emails have gone up. I showed you the data. This is not a time to slow down. This is a time to speed up. All right. So I'm going to lead this. Oh no, I'm not going to leave this slide up. This slide though is in the PDF that Jan shared. And Jan, are you going to share stuff in the Mattermost channel? Okay, so she's going to throw it up in the Mattermost channel. Here's where all the links are that I referenced in here. Go crazy. And I'm now going to turn to the live session channel, the UC chat. One thing I want to figure out is I have to look over here, which makes makes it look awkward. It looks like I'm talking to someone, but I'm not. I'm just looking over here to try to read these answers. Jan is going to actually send me some comments and questions, and she's not. What do you know? I'm just going to go look at the live session. Let's troll through here. Okay, let me see. Well, right now, here's the thing. If you have questions, sorry, I just did something dumb. If you have questions, hit me up. Go to the live chat, put your answers in there, and tell me what I can do for you. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Katie Schaefer. Katie Schaefer's trying to hug everyone virtually. No shocker there. Good for her, though. And let me see here. You have not canceled your plane tickets, Sarah? You're crazy. All right. I'm going to jump to the new messages. Are we on camera? You know, that's a really good question. And that's something I should have mentioned at the beginning. Thank you for asking. No, you are not on camera. We are not turning people on. You have no fear of being seen or heard. So that does not mean you need to dress up or dress at all. All right. I do encourage being dressed, however. No need to play Zoom roulette. We, however, when we do get to a point, I'm sure our users conference team is working on it. We are probably going to have some classes. I'm sure we're going to have some classes that are more interactive than this, in which case maybe the cameras will be turned on, or maybe we'll drive stuff to chat. One of the things that we're expecting to do, Jan can tell me if I've got this wrong, Zoom has some really cool features relating to people being able to go into breakout rooms and stuff like that. So no, I guess we're not doing that functionality right now. Okay, maybe we'll see. But you have no danger of suddenly being outed. And so if you're sitting in your room and it's all goth posters, no one's gonna know. All right, does anyone have any questions or comments? Type them away. I see people typing, but I gotta wait till you're seeing. And all right, okay. Oh, I know. And the reason I was talking about that with the Zoom stuff is in order to make the viewing easier for YouTube, we don't have those breakout channels. But we'll see what happens as the UC evolves. Can the Mattermost cell phone app be used? It absolutely can, because I've used it myself. I would say, Dr. Sachs, not at this moment. We are not going to attempt during this call to do your customer support there, but one of our friendly operators will be in touch. So, Dr. Sachs, yeah, it can definitely be used. Will Polly have a session on HIPAA? I don't know. Jan, do we scheduled Polly to teach anything yet for the users conference? We do. Do we know, is anyone covering HIPAA? You realize when you say things, I can't hear you. I just have to read you. Not yet. There's Jan.
There's Jan.
So if we don't have Polly, I'm sure we'll have someone. And HIPAA is a really interesting topic during the times of COVID.
And please, yeah, everybody, for ideas that you have, things that you want to know about, part of the reason that we left the later weeks of the schedule light is so that we can adapt to the things that you're asking for real time. Please put those in the surveys.
All right. More questions, please. This was like way too easy. I was expecting to get grilled. I have not, you know what's freaking me out a little bit? Not a single person is asking about any of the releases. I thought I was going to have to run the gauntlet here at PCC to be able to be allowed to tell you what was coming.
There is definitely content about the upcoming releases in the already scheduled in the courses. You'll see those.
Absolutely. So yeah, the one thing to make clear, we're going to be doing a ton of training on the June release and probably on 8.13 and stuff like that. So I deliberately skimmed over things just to give people a sense of what's coming, not to actually go into them in detail. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? I mean, in theory, we can end early, get a 10-minute break. Everyone can keep, you know what? If you're in your office and you're on the webinar, you can always end early, but don't have to open the door. And then you can walk out 90 minutes early and just look like you are tired and exhausted. Okay, there's a good question. How broad will the Chattis pilot be? How many practices? I will give you the PCC answer. So what is going to happen in a few weeks is we are going to start with one practice. And then as that practice succeeds, we might go to 2 or 3. And then we will open the faucet a little bit more at a time. When you're dealing with the Chattis integration, you are hitting the heartbeat of the practice, which is the schedule. And just like when we do open heart surgery, you're very careful. And there are a lot of, the Chattis integration is a very, it's of, I don't want to call it a cultural integration, but it's a, what's the word I want? They have their way of thinking and doing things. And I'm describing this the wrong way, but they have their sort of like biome, and we have our biome. And so the integration takes a lot more planning and testing than, say, adding a new insurance payer. Like, you know, the EDI guys, the reason they're able to maintain literally hundreds of insurance, you know, claim integrations and stuff like that, because there's standards for doing a lot of that work, and there are none on the Chattis side. So one at a time. Is there only one other session today? So, oh, you guys get me twice today. Ouch. So yes, I'm doing a telemedicine thing at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3, 2. We're doing it sometime this afternoon. Well, for some of you it's 2, for some of you it might be 2, for some it might be 3. But yes, we're doing one in the afternoon. Is there a week of, it's at 2 o'clock. And have we posted next week's schedule yet? I don't think so. No, but we will be soon. Nate, look, I love having all these PCCers. As you know, the Nate bot has responded. You can go see the rest of this this week's schedule here. But we have, I mean, the UC crew has been lining stuff up. And to be clear, though, we really want everyone's anxiety to be low. If you can't attend the webinar, you can watch it later. That's the whole, you know, that's really the point. We don't want anyone to feel that they have to make a decision between attending the PCC webinar and not. Of course, all right, like I'm looking at Judy Raposa right here, because you know, she's front and center at every class I give her, certainly at someone else's when I'm at the users conference. And she's wondering, hey, what if I have questions about that topic? Well, one of the things that's nice is you'll be able to see who's teaching the topic, and you can send them a question and they might be able to answer it, so that later that night when you get home and you're having dinner and you've binge watched everything you're going to see on Netflix, well, now you can watch your PCC thing and your questions should get answered. But here's the thing, you pay us to answer your questions already. Send your questions in, though, that we can do a slightly better job making these interactions real time and delivering the information more effectively. I hope that helps. Oh, look at Dr. Lavanya. She's my favorite. All right, I'm gonna make this. I'm going to make this or have this end a little bit early. That way, I get to eat lunch before my 2 o'clock, and I'll finish my slides. They're done. Don't worry. I want to close with this. Thank you to everyone at PCC who helped make this part of the users conference possible. People like Jan and Lynn, and I'm forgetting everyone else who's on that team, so forgive me. I suspect Nate is and stuff. Thank you. I just show up and talk for an hour, so I have the easiest job. Without these guys being organized and putting a bunch of infrastructure together, this would be a chaotic mess. I also really, really want to thank you, our customers, for all the hard work that you do. You're the reason that PCC is here. If you need us for something, just ask. All right, I'll see some of you at 2 o'clock, and then maybe some of you at 8 o'clock tonight when you watch the 2 o'clock. And we have, and then tomorrow I'm going, and we have a bunch of other people. You know what happened is they say, all right, who can give a talk? And then they just put my name on a bunch of things. All right, those slots are filled. They might not be filled well, but they won't be silent. That was the decision-making process. So we start with the quantity, and we will end with the quality when you get some other speakers. All right, Jan, I'm not in charge of this talk, right? You
are not in charge of this. No,
I'm not in charge.
I've got all the buttons.
Yep. So Jan, whenever she wants to pull the plug, we'll pull the plug, and I'm just going to do this.
Thank you so much, everybody. Stay tuned to UC Chat, specifically in the live session channel, where you'll find things like links to surveys and links to handouts, or we'll actually upload the handouts directly to it. Thanks to all the PCC folk for helping out with questions and answers. We'll organize all that and make sure that everybody gets all the answers to all the questions. We will see you, hopefully all of you again at 2 p.m. and further and beyond. Thank you for being here. I wish I could see you. Bye.